Okay. Hello, hello. It's Katie Carey, or Alchemist, your soul alignment guide. I'm all about helping supernatural women to align and amplify their God frequency in all ways and always, helping you thrive from the heart and live for the soul so that you're living a life that's by your rules so that you can self-actualize and reach self-mastery and treat life like a game and create more ease, pleasure, and flow and blah, blah, blah. Here we are. If you're watching the replay, come let me know. Talk to me, engage with me, say thank you, say amen, say something else. If you don't like it, drop it in my inbox though. If you have something in a disagreement, drop it in my inbox because I'll delete it on my space. So I've been doing work with women for 10 years, and that's why I titled this Accountability, Shame, and Perfectionism. And I want to specify, I only started consciously, deliberately teaching and mentoring in 2017. Before that, though, I was getting called to teach about things I didn't know about all the time. People would message me all the time. Hey, I understand you're a hypnotherapist. What? No, wait. Hey, I understand you're a nutritionist. What? What? No. But it is part of my genius and purpose and it's part of it's one of the things that assisted me in knowing that I am a teacher and that people come to me to learn, and also assisted me in learning when to be okay with not having all the answers. And so during that 10 years, even when I at first was doing my work, I started out as a healer. And I mean, I thought I was going to be a healer forever. And I'm still a healer. My frequency heals, my being heals, my words heal. Everything about me heals. It's in my signature. Aura Alchemist, the name that was given to me and initiated and laid onto me as an I am, as an isness, represents that as well. Throughout that whole evolution, the reason why I even moved into more of a mentorship is it was never satisfying. Ever. It was never satisfying for me to just sit and send energy and heal somebody. I saw that didn't do it. I could see with my gifts that wasn't enough. I could see where things weren't landing in people. I could literally see and hear beliefs entangled in people's chakra system. I could see and hear people's denial of those beliefs trapped as chronic conditions, especially women. Most women with a chronic condition, especially a skin condition or some sort of inflammation like lupus that has a lot of constant mysterious pain, is from a debt of trapped emotion, a debt of not advocating for yourself, a debt of avoidance, and it's showing up as chronic inflammation all over your body. Didn't know I was going to talk about any of that. Haven't talked about that in a long, long time, because I used to heal a lot of women. I used to attract a lot of women with fibromyalgia specifically, or they had mysterious ailments and they were on disability, and we would work together for 1-2 months and they'd be reducing their physical therapy in half. They'd be able to go get a job, work more hours, get out of bed. Year-long, years of pain would be gone through the work we would do together. And the reason why that was so powerful is because I just always knew and saw that, at least for the women that came into there's many planes of reality. There's no right or wrong way. I'm speaking in my ethos for my people. There are healers out there who are meant to be instant healers, and the people who are in their space and coming to them and getting results are meant to have instant healing. And I speak in my universe. My universe is the truth. That's why my rules and my space operate the way that they do. It is why I operate with such precision and purpose, because it's my responsibility to anchor in and hold the space for the truth that I am called to live and be and express and serve unto other people. And so in my world, while healing can be instant, it's actually not beneficial for it to be. It actually gyps you. It actually rips you off. It robs you of the human experience and the evolution and the power of deciding to change and deciding to shift, and actually learning and seeing the relationship between your beliefs and your thoughts and and your body and your experience, and just how much every detail matters and just how much power you have. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Victoria. Okay, I did not know we were going there. And that's okay, because this is a really important message and some of you guys just really need to hear it. And this is a repeating message. And there's never going to be, I can never say anything that's going to come through here enough times in relation to why women are stuck. And I really want to say women because I have no business speaking to men, and because I have no business speaking to men about this thing. So I'm sure that it's true for men in some way, but I'm sure it also looks a little different. So I'm not going to pretend that it's the same. That is why I mainly operate with women. Okay. So in that 10 years, I've watched people run away and quit and collapse over and over again. I have seen women in the deepest loops, caught in so many sabotaging loops over and over again, deeper and deeper. I have seen them run their hamster wheel. I have seen it. I have had clients over the last 10 years, before I had good boundaries and stuff like that, that I tried to get out of that hamster wheel month after month, year after year. And I'm very grateful for that experience, because there is something that I can see that I have noticed that a lot of people are missing. And it gives me so much joy to offer this wisdom to other people who desire to facilitate others. Because you're going to run into this, even if you're not a healer or you're a coach, you're going to run into this as a human. So just as a human, in order to understand other people and understand maybe some people that you might have judged as ratchet, common, I don't know, whatever name that you give in people that you deem irresponsible. There's a yes, they're irresponsible, and there's a reason why they've developed these rather abrasive, kind of gross personalities and habits that to you seem like somebody who is just consciously ignorant and consciously not a good person, or whatever name that you've given it. And maybe you are somebody who has really been in some deep patterns, and you really ran away from people, and you've quit everything that you've started, and you have a lot of shame about that. And now you are in this loop of shame for not moving forward. And so with women specifically, there's a reason why that loop happens. And it's because of the entanglement around, because they have these entanglements around accountability, they have developed entire personality traits and habits in order to avoid the shame. And because they can't seem to get to a place of personal responsibility and accountability without running into this giant entanglement of shame, everything that they've developed, even if it just sounds like they're not taking responsibility and they're pointing fingers at other people and stuff, really deep down, what's going on is that they are running away from their own shame. And I don't mean shame as in they're secretly ashamed about the thing that they're projecting. I mean shame as in the shame programs within them that causes them to have shame anytime they're not perfect. Which is why I called this accountability, shame, and perfectionism. I could go into this 20 different ways. This is a big thing. So I'm just gonna flow, and I'm gonna trust that you're gonna get what you need, especially if you just sit and let it hit you. Let it soak you. Okay. So the funny thing about perfectionism is that most perfectionists don't even think that they're perfectionists, because they've judged everything they do as not good enough. And so when somebody says that they're a perfectionist, they look around and say, what are you talking about? My work isn't good. My life isn't right. Nothing is going the way that it should. I don't do anything up to standard. They have these huge stories that to them proves that they're not perfectionists, but because they're operating from the perfectionism paradigm, they don't even recognize it. And because perfectionism can look many different ways. There are perfectionists that never fail and always do their best. And there are perfectionists that always fail because their perfectionism keeps them from ever showing up with their full potential to actually complete something with excellence. So somebody who is stuck in perfectionism, this can look many different ways. So this came thanks to two beautiful ladies that had brought some conversations in to my post. And the post actually is not as relevant as the comment. So I'm just going to read this comment, and we're going to come in this way, and then I'm going to break it down even more. Basically, through a post that I had done earlier, we ended up talking about accountability, which wasn't the point of my post. And so while I totally agreed, I just said, I agree with you, and this post isn't about accountability. And I was specifically avoiding the word accountability because I could hear and see the way that women, if they heard that, it was going to block their ability to receive the message and grok the message and really, really actually look at the thing. Why? Because they're going to trip and land in their shame. So let's talk about that a little bit. So let me go down to what I said, and then we'll go in deeper. So I just said I've been working with women's energy for 10 years. I'm known as a truth teller. I'll speak with blades when I need to, but many women never get their breakthrough because they're entangled. Their version of accountability is tied up like old cords in shame, punishment, abandonment, and other bad girl programs and religious programs and lots of different parent wounds. They don't know how to receive the language of accountability because even when they desire to take control, every time they try to touch it, they get caught in that shame puddle. That is why sex coaching is selling right now, even if the seller's content doesn't offer any real healing or substance. It's a window for these women to feel empowered, even if it's not empowerment, without feeling and running into that shame puddle. Because now they have a tribe and somebody that they can belong to, and they're getting caught by that. And so that shows up when they try to do the work. And people who don't understand that, or people that take these clients on, see them as problem clients and they fire them, but it's because they're missing this entanglement piece, which doesn't necessarily mean you need to coddle these clients. You just need to understand how deeply they can't hear you, because they literally don't know the language of true accountability. Accountability to them is being left behind. Accountability to them is, if you do not do what we tell you to and comply, we will call you a bad person. We will take love away from you. We will take acceptance away from you. We will put you in a corner. We will hide you. We will be embarrassed by you. We will deem you as less valuable. And so most people, especially women, have internalized this idea unconsciously that to take accountability for something is a great risk to their value and to their ability to be loved and to their ability to be accepted. And it ends up bringing up the idea that if I take accountability, I'm going to get left behind. And so these women will tend to develop very, very deep denial mindsets and paradigms and they'll ping pong. These women will ping pong from taking responsibility, but since that responsibility equals shame, they don't know how to hold themselves accountable and be responsible without also abusing themselves and deeming themselves as bad or deserving no excuses or whatever, doing something wrong. They don't even know how to talk to themselves any other way. So even when they do start to get to a place of accountability, they go to the extreme of beating themselves up. And so then just to survive, their psyche creates this denial mechanism that's painted as positivity and whatever else, because the alternative is to absolutely drown in their lack of worth and self-hatred. And so a lot of these women appear really positive and appear like things are great, some of them, because that's the alternative to stepping out of that denial and complacency mindset where they're celebrating the same step, is that they will hate themselves. That they will run into these voices in their head that are like, I'm not worthy. I fucked up. I don't get any more chances. I'm going to get left behind. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be accepted. Most women who lack accountability are, they cannot go there because they think that they will be loveless and unaccepted, left behind, and abandoned. Shame, the purpose of shame is to keep you in service to the tribe. Shame had purpose when we were in a state of survival. It had absolute purpose. My AC's not on, girl. Hold up. There we go. It's getting warm in here. So shame had use. Shame has use when you need to survive because you need the tribe to survive. But once it becomes time to self-actualize and step out of survival and into thriving and into individuating, you've got to be able to untangle those programs of shame. So just understanding that the purpose of shame is to keep you connected to the tribe. And so also when shame comes up, that means that there's a program in me that's trying to please somebody else or trying not to disappoint somebody. So the very first thing that somebody who lacks accountability and responsibility and what that looks like, you're not aware of that. You just think that you're undisciplined. You hide a lot. You sleep a lot. You worry about failure. You go from one extreme or the other. You go from, you're like meditating for 2 hours, 4 hours a day. You're doing all this stuff and affirmations and stuff, and then you can't keep up that pace. So you burn out. So you go from being the extremist, self-aware person to every self-sabotaging act in the book. Absolutely. Everything you could do to destroy your progress, you do. And then you go and then repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. And yes, a lot of times that cycle includes drugs and alcohol or any other kind of self-medicating and spiritual escapism. I'm going to pull up y'all's comments. Hi, Jerome. Hi, Candace. Okay. Y'all with me so far? And again, I'm like, this is such a meaty thing that I could talk about for hours. So really trying to keep it in order and focus. I was like, I'm going to make this less than 30 minutes. We'll see. I don't do bite-sized. So when you feel that shame come up, the first thing you have to ask is, who is my subconscious and my psyche trying to be of service to? Who am I afraid to disappoint? Who am I afraid to displease? What tribe am I afraid to break up from or be excommunicated from? What love am I afraid that I'll lose or that I'm craving that I feel like I need to keep by avoiding this? So I have found that 100% of the time, because women who can't get any breakthroughs anywhere else and haven't gotten any breakthroughs anywhere else for years get breakthroughs in my space because I understand this. It's just a truth. It's just an isness. That's why I'm not afraid to take on clients that other coaches and mentors tend to just fall apart. They don't know how to hold the space for. They don't understand them. And that doesn't make them bad at what they do because everybody has their specialties. There's a reason I understand this. I wasn't always me. I get it. I've been through all the fires. So the reason why this can happen just as much for perfectionism is that a perfectionist might seem, even though the perfectionist can easily create what they want and easily influence people and all of this stuff, it's not sustainable. They've developed a reality that's like a machine that they have to continuously feed. So even if a perfectionist has a great life, they can't take a break. They can't slow down. They can't make money while they sleep. They can't Like they're trapped. Their perfectionism is a prison, and it's a prison to stay away from that place of shame, how that looks like for them. So really ask yourself, what does accountability mean to you? And what do you need to take down? And what do you need to untangle from that? Because accountability shouldn't be a parole officer. It shouldn't have to do with getting in trouble. It shouldn't have to do with a slap on the wrist or whatever that looked like for you. Accountability is not punishment. Accountability is not blame. Accountability is not fault. We can say that and know that, but it's up to you to really do your work, because everybody has some work to do on this in order for accountability to be easier for you. You see a lot of men talk about how men can take, wow. This is why men don't understand this aspect about women. So men will look at this aspect about women. This is why they had me come at the beginning about how this is different for men and women. This is different for men and women because men don't get caught in this same kind of paradigm. So not only are men, so they can say they can tell the truth to each other and receive it, because they don't have the same level of criticism that we do. The reason that we are critical is because we have the ability to see details. Men can see 5,000 miles ahead. We can see the details in plain sight. That's our superpower. When that's in shadow, it's a very critical eye. Just look at how you act when you're PMSing right before your moon. You're hypercritical. It's because your senses, your feminine senses are up, and it's because you're supposed to be examining your surroundings with that level of detail. You're supposed to be scanning the atmosphere with that level of detail. So, but you have to watch for that and be aware of that and cultivate that skill so that it does not go into shadow in yourself and towards others. But the other reason why that happens is because men aren't dealing with these same types of childhood programs and unconscious programs that women do, that make it so difficult that make it more difficult for women who are caught in these to take personal accountability and responsibility without falling into the self-hatred and the shame and the I'm not worthy and everything that it means, as soon as they're not a good girl for the tribe. So I can look at people with insane personalities and I can still kick them out of my space. They're still responsible for handling me accordingly. But when I look out into the collective and I see these women with their I'm independent and whatever false confidence that are pointing fingers at everybody else, I see what's really going on. I can literally see their little girl and the levels and the boxes around her to protect her. These people are avoiding accountability to protect their little girl and to protect themselves from getting caught in any of those snags. So I've done like a little reel on this. I've done videos in the past, years ago. Of course, all my clients, we talk about this because the very first thing that you need to be able to cultivate to do any kind of soul work, especially deep soul work and transformation work, which is just constantly looking at your shadow and what you do and who you are not, you have to develop. And so that's why some women get stuck, is because you're trying to skip the step. This step might take you a year or two. You have to develop a beautiful, wonderful, amazing inner voice that offers you so much acceptance and love and compassion and constantly tells you that you need no excuses. You don't need any excuses. You deserve every good thing. You're never going to run out of chances. You're never going to not be good enough. You're always going to have a seat at the table. It's yours. Nobody can take that from you. You still have a throne. You're still on the throne. It's okay. And some of you just needed to sit in my energy to receive that. And so speaking of perfectionism, you know, that is also why I created the luminary space. Everything that I just talked about is because I understand that. So for women who are, and you might have done a lot of good things, and you are now running, because every time you expand your edge, and it's like you're occupying more space. Your consciousness is vast. It is full of graveyards and programs and thousands of stuff that you've picked up over the decades. And so the more space that you occupy, you might think, oh, I cleared this already. I healed this already. I'm done with this. And you were done in the context of where you were and the space that you were occupying. And now you are bigger. Now you're being called to occupy more space. Now you're being called to reach another level of maturity. You're being called to grow up. Spirit wants to give you meteor, yummy truths and genius, but you have to be able to occupy this space and clear this for you to even be able to hold that amount of power. Because with great power comes great responsibility. And the greater your responsibility that you take for yourself, the greater power you have, right? And so it's not that you failed. It's not that you never got anywhere. It's not that it didn't work before. It's just that you're in a different place, in a different context. That is the fractal. That is the spiral of life. And with each level, you're being asked to grow up. It's time to grow up. You wanted the uncommon life. The uncommon life also means that you can't get away with the shit that those common people do. You want uncommon results? You're going to be held to an uncommon standard by the universe. Okay, I feel like that message is complete. Even though we could go 10 hours in different directions, talk about the different contexts and different levels of women and all the ways that this has shown up. But in this level, I just wanted to do it from a lens of compassion for people who are running around like reckless children, pointing fingers in the collective. And I wanted to speak on it from a lens of compassion for you who are stuck in perfectionism. You're stuck in the same circles. You're in the same place today that you were 2 years ago. You give up on yourself a lot. You haven't figured out how to get out of these loops yet. Your perfectionism is killing you. You're successful, but your perfectionism is just fucking killing every joy. Nothing you do is good enough, no matter how good it is. Every time you meet a part of yourself that's unpleasant, you crash, because it's like how hard because you're so hard on yourself every time you're corrected, every time God shows you who you are not, every time you're humbled. Every time you are humbled, you cannot be humbled without being ashamed. Every time you are corrected, you cannot be corrected without making it about being wrong and feeling guilty and entering a space of shame. I see you. And it's okay. Shame is one of the most visceral feelings in your body. It's very convincing. You got to be able to start separating the shame that is just a visceral survival response in your body from the programs that are triggering it, which we've given you those prompts. Because when there's shame, there's somebody you are in service to in your imagination or in your life. There's a community, there's an idea, there's something you feel shame for separating from, that you're afraid to be disconnected from, that you're afraid not to please, that you're afraid to break compliance with, that you want the approval of. And it's still ruling your life, which means your life isn't yours until you break up with this shame. And there's no magic mirror. Somebody can pull that shame out of you, but those same beliefs and programs are going to keep recreating it. So it has to start with your beliefs, and it has to start with you taking ultimate authority over yourself and your body, and realizing that it's just a feeling, it's just a program, it's just shame, it's just a signal, it's a convincing one, it's difficult, it's intense. And for some of you, you've had such a debt of denial that it's overwhelming. I understand. I see you. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. I love you. Now go do the thing that scares the fuck out of you.